Mira adjusted the focus on her telescope, her brow furrowing as she tracked an anomaly in the night sky. It had been there for hours now. A dark, massive object eclipsing stars one by one. This wasn't an ordinary meteor or debris. It moved with purpose. She leaned back in her chair, the cool night air biting at her skin, and tapped her earpiece. "Jonas, you seeing this?" she asked. On the other end of the line, Jonas, a scruffy astrophysicist with a penchant for late-night ramen, groaned. "I'm trying to finish my noodles, Mira. What's so important it can't wait until tomorrow?" "You're going to want to put those noodles down," Mira said, her voice tinged with unease. "I think we've got company." In the sleepy town of Ridgewell, nestled far from bustling cities, the night skies were usually serene. But tonight, an inexplicable tension filled the air. By morning, the entire town was buzzing, not because of an announcement or a visible event, but because power grids had flickered, cell phones had lost signal intermittently, and the skies were tinged with an unnatural green hue at dawn. Mira, a young astronomer with a reputation for chasing oddities, was already at the Ridgewell Observatory, joined by Jonas, her lifelong friend and partner in all things science. Together, they stared at the screen projecting data from her telescope. "Jonas," she whispered, pointing at the screen, "that's not a comet." The object was now clearly visible, and its unnatural symmetry ruled out any natural phenomenon. The two exchanged a glance, part fear, part excitement. "What are we looking at?" Jonas asked. "A ship," Mira replied, her voice barely audible. The news broke a few hours later, when the massive object hovered above Earth's atmosphere, casting a shadow large enough to blot out the sun over parts of Europe. Governments scrambled to issue statements, scientists debated theories, and doomsday enthusiasts hit the airwaves with glee. For Ridgewell, however, things took an unexpected turn. A smaller craft detached from the main vessel and descended. And as fate would have it, it landed not in Washington or London, but in Ridgewell's abandoned quarry. By the time Mira and Jonas arrived at the quarry, the site was swarmed with locals. Sheriff Carter, a grizzled man with a no-nonsense attitude, was barking orders to keep everyone back. The air smelled of ozone, and the ground was scorched around the craft, a sleek, metallic structure that pulsed faintly with green light. "This is it," Mira said, eyes wide. Jonas nudged her. "We're not the first contact type, Mira. Leave that to the experts." "Experts?" She gestured at the crowd of gawking townsfolk. "The most qualified person here is probably old Mr. Haggerty, and he thinks aliens are allergic to vinegar." Before Jonas could reply, the ship hissed, releasing a plume of steam. The crowd gasped and took several steps back. Mira, however, took a step forward. "Don't." Jonas grabbed her arm, but she shook him off. "I've waited my whole life for something like this," she said. The ship's ramp descended, and out walked a single alien. Humanoid in shape but unnervingly tall, it had elongated limbs, a reflective, translucent skin, and glowing eyes that shifted colors. Its movement was fluid, almost graceful, but the weight of its presence was undeniable. The crowd fell silent, and Sheriff Carter's hand hovered over his holstered gun. "Do you come in peace?" Carter called out, his voice steady despite the tension. The alien tilted its head, as if processing the words, then raised a slender arm. A shimmering holographic sphere materialized above its palm, displaying a sequence of symbols and shapes. That's not English," Jonas muttered. "No kidding," Mira replied. The alien gestured again, and the hologram shifted to show a planet. It wasn't Earth. The image zoomed in, showing destruction, collapsing cities, burning landscapes, and a black, amorphous cloud spreading across the surface. What is that?" someone in the crowd whispered. Mira stepped forward cautiously. "You're warning us?" she asked. The alien turned its glowing gaze to her. The hologram shifted again, this time displaying Earth, with similar destruction spreading across it. The crowd erupted into chaos. Later that evening, Mira, Jonas, and Sheriff Carter gathered in the observatory to make sense of the encounter. The alien had returned to its ship, but the message was clear. Earth was in danger. They didn't attack us, Mira argued. If they wanted to, they could have wiped us out already. Maybe they're just waiting for backup, Carter said. Jonas leaned against the wall, rubbing his temples. This is above our pay grade. We need experts, military, someone who actually knows what to do. And what if they don't get here in time? Mira shot back. The alien came here for a reason. Maybe they think we can help. With what? Carter asked. Mira hesitated. I don't know yet. Their argument was interrupted by a sudden power surge. Lights flickered, and all the monitors in the observatory displayed the same image, a countdown. As the hours ticked by, Mira and Jonas worked tirelessly to decipher the alien's message. Using every tool at their disposal, they managed to translate fragments of the hologram. Terraforming, Jonas said, pointing to the symbols. They're warning us about some kind of planetary transformation. But why? Mira asked. Before he could answer, the observatory's door slammed open. It was Carter, out of breath. Something's happening at the quarry, he said. When they arrived, the scene was surreal. The alien ship was glowing brighter than before, and strange, vine-like structures were emerging from the ground around it, pulsating with green light. The alien stood at the center of it all, seemingly conducting the activity. Mira approached cautiously. What are you doing? The alien turned to her and pointed at the sky. Following its gesture, Mira saw something that chilled her to the core, a second ship, much larger than the first, descending from the mothership. We're out of time, Jonas said grimly. As the first section closes, Mira, Jonas, and the townsfolk face an impossible decision. Trust the alien and its mysterious warning, or prepare for the worst. The stakes are clear. Earth's future hangs by a thread, and time is running out. The quarry was alive with energy. The alien's towering ship pulsed rhythmically, its green tendrils snaking through the scorched earth like veins, spreading farther into Ridgewell with every passing minute. Above, the second, far larger craft had descended into the atmosphere, its immense shadow blotting out the midday sun. Jonas adjusted the settings on his portable scanner, frustration evident on his face. This thing is reading power levels off the charts. Whatever those tendrils are, they're burrowing deep underground and interacting with something. Mira knelt near one of the tendrils, carefully examining its translucent surface. Inside, faint, glowing symbols shifted like text on a screen. It's not just energy, she said. It's coding something, communicating. Sheriff Carter approached, his rifle slung over his shoulder. So what's the verdict? Is this thing trying to save us or wipe us off the map? Honestly? Could go either way, Jonas muttered. Mira stood and faced the alien, who stood motionless in the center of the activity. She took a cautious step toward it. You're trying to warn us, aren't you? She asked. But about what? The alien's glowing eyes shifted to her, then to the sky. It raised its elongated hand, and once again a shimmering hologram appeared. This time, it showed Earth, but now a series of black, jagged spires erupted from the surface, spreading like a plague. Jonas groaned. Terraforming. I knew it. Terraforming? By who? Carter demanded. Not by them, Mira interjected, pointing at the alien. By something else. The second ship touched down in the forest a few miles outside Ridgewell, unleashing a seismic tremor that sent waves rippling through the ground. A blaring alarm from Jonas's scanner jolted the group. Something's moving, Jonas said, his face pale. Lots of somethings. The group rushed to higher ground, overlooking the dense forest. What they saw chilled them to the bone. Emerging from the second ship were massive, insect-like machines, each standing on 6 razor-sharp legs. Their bodies gleamed with a dark, metallic sheen, and their glowing red eyes scanned the terrain methodically. They're spreading out, Carter said, raising his rifle. If those things make it to the town, They'll annihilate everything, Mira finished grimly. One of the machines let out a piercing, mechanical shriek, and the others responded in kind. They began moving in unison, their legs slicing through trees as they advanced. Back at the observatory, Mira and Jonas worked frantically to devise a plan. The alien had followed them there, its presence quiet but commanding. "We need to figure out what it wants us to do," Mira said, poring over her notes and sketches of the holograms. "It keeps showing us destruction, but no clear way to stop it." Jonas sighed. "Maybe we're just supposed to evacuate and hope for the best." Mira slammed her hands on the table. "No. If it wanted us to run, it wouldn't have come here. There's something specific about this place, about us." The alien stepped forward, raising its hand once more. A new hologram appeared, this one showing a series of structures buried deep beneath the Earth's crust. Mira's eyes widened. "These are," she trailed off, staring at Jonas. "Ancient facilities," he finished. "Those are Earth's natural defenses." Sheriff Carter crossed his arms. "You're telling me Earth has a built-in alien security system, and no one bothered to tell us." "More like no one knew," Jonas said. "These things are millions of years old, predating human civilization. If this map is accurate, there's one near Ridgewell. And let me guess," Carter said, "we're the lucky fools who get to activate it." The group set out, guided by the alien, who seemed to understand the urgency. Following the holographic map, they trekked through Ridgewell's dense forest, avoiding the patrolling insect-like machines. The atmosphere was tense, each sound in the woods making them flinch. "We're getting close," Jonas said, his scanner pinging rapidly. They reached a clearing where the ground opened into a vast cavern, the entrance marked by strange, glowing glyphs identical to the ones on the alien ship. "Here we go," Mira said, descending cautiously into the darkness. The cavern was immense, its walls lined with shimmering crystals that pulsed faintly. At the center stood a monolithic console, its surface covered in alien symbols. Jonas approached it nervously. "Well, this is a nice piece of history. Anyone know how to turn it on?" The alien stepped forward, placing its hand on the console. The symbols lit up and the entire cavern vibrated. Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice echoed through the space, not in English, but in a language that seemed to resonate in their minds. "What is it saying?" Carter asked, gripping his rifle tightly. "It's unlocking," Mira said, feeling a strange connection to the words. Outside, the insect machines had caught wind of their activity. One by one, they converged on the cavern's entrance, their shrieks piercing the air. Carter cursed. "We've got company." Mira and Jonas scrambled to decipher the console's commands while Carter and the alien defended the entrance. The sheriff's rifle barked repeatedly, each shot taking down a machine, but they kept coming. The alien moved with impossible speed, its elongated limbs slashing through metal like paper. "We're running out of time," Carter shouted. "I'm almost there," Mira replied, her fingers flying over the glowing symbols. Finally, the console emitted a blinding light. Outside, a low-frequency hum echoed across the landscape as massive pillars emerged from the ground, crackling with energy. "What did you do?" Jonas asked. "I activated it," Mira said, her voice trembling. The pillars unleashed beams of light into the sky, forming a protective dome over Ridgewell. The insect machines screeched in frustration, their movements erratic as they collided with the barrier and disintegrated. As the immediate threat was neutralized, Mira turned to the alien, who seemed to observe her with approval. "This isn't over, is it?" she asked. The alien shook its head and pointed back to the sky. The massive mothership above Earth began to shift, revealing a terrifying truth. The invasion wasn't limited to Ridgewell. Across the globe, similar attacks were underway. Jonas exhaled. "We're just one small piece of this puzzle. But it's a start," Mira said, determination in her eyes. The group stood together, gazing at the glowing pillars, knowing that the fight was far from over. The stakes had risen, and humanity's survival now hinged on their ability to uncover more of Earth's hidden defenses, and fast. The dome protecting Ridgewell shimmered like a translucent shield, pulsing with the energy of the ancient pillars. Inside, the townsfolk stared in awe, murmuring nervously about what lay beyond. Outside, the insect machines had regrouped, their mechanical shrieks piercing the tense air. The towering mothership loomed ominously above, its surface rippling with flashes of light as it prepared for the next phase of the invasion. Mira adjusted the straps of her backpack, which was stuffed with maps, tools, and makeshift gadgets scavenged from the observatory. Beside her, Jonas tinkered with a device that looked like a fusion of a car battery and a drone, while Sheriff Carter stood watch at the edge of the dome, his rifle slung over his shoulder. "We bought ourselves time, but not much," Jonas said, his voice taut with exhaustion. "That mothership isn't just sitting there for decoration. It's gearing up for something big." Mira nodded, her gaze fixed on the alien, who stood silently at the base of one of the pillars, its elongated form bathed in green light. The alien had been their unlikely ally, guiding them through the activation of the ancient defenses, but its cryptic warnings left more questions than answers. "We need to find the other defense systems," Mira said, determination hardening her voice. "If Ridgewell has one, there have to be more around the globe. That mothership won't stop with us. It's preparing to terraform the entire planet." "Right," Carter said, his tone dry. "And we're just going to stroll out there, past the killer bug bots, and activate a worldwide defense network we know nothing about." Jonas smirked. "Got any better ideas, Sheriff?" The alien stepped forward, raising its hand to project another hologram. This one showed a map of Earth, with glowing dots scattered across the continents. Ridgewell was only the first. Mira's heart sank as she realized the scale of the task ahead. "Looks like we're going global," she muttered. As the team prepared to leave the relative safety of the dome, the first complication arose. The alien's hologram displayed an urgent warning. The dome's energy reserves were depleting. The defense system was designed to protect, but not indefinitely. Worse, the pillars emitted a beacon that was drawing the mothership's attention. "If that thing focuses on us, we're toast," Jonas said. "We need to take the fight to them, not wait for them to overwhelm us." Mira glanced at the alien, who nodded as if it understood Jonas's words. "Then we need to move now," she said. The group devised a risky plan. Mira, Jonas, Carter, and the alien would venture out to find the nearest defense system, while a small group of volunteers stayed behind to defend Ridgewell. Among those staying was Mayor Galloway, who had reluctantly taken charge of organizing the townsfolk into a makeshift militia. "I'll keep this place standing," Galloway said, gripping a hunting rifle with shaky hands. "You just make sure there's a world left for us to save." The journey to the next defense site was harrowing, with the alien guiding them. The group traveled through dense forests and desolate highways, avoiding insect machines that patrolled in erratic patterns. Each encounter brought them closer to discovery, but the alien's keen senses and quick reflexes saved them time and again. The second site was located beneath an abandoned mining complex, its entrance hidden by decades of overgrowth. The group descended into the darkness, their flashlights cutting through the stale air. The deeper they went, the more alien the surroundings became. Strange, glowing glyphs lined the walls, and faint humming vibrations grew stronger with each step. At the heart of the mine, they found it, a second control console, similar to the one in Ridgewell but larger and more complex. It was surrounded by dormant machinery, towering constructs that resembled massive sentinels. "This is bigger than Ridgewell," Mira said, awe in her voice. "It's a full-scale defense hub." "Well, let's fire it up," Carter said, gripping his rifle tightly. "Before those bugs catch up." As Mira and Jonas worked to activate the console, the alien stood watch, its glowing eyes scanning the cavern. Jonas muttered under his breath, frustrated by the intricate symbols and patterns. "I need more time," he said. "We don't have time," Carter replied, his voice tense. "They're here." The mechanical shrieks echoed through the cavern, growing louder by the second. The insect machines had found them. The battle that ensued was nothing short of chaos. Carter and the alien held the line, the sheriff's bullets finding their marks while the alien's fluid movements sliced through the machines with deadly precision. Sparks flew, metal screeched, and the cavern trembled under the onslaught. Jonas, sweating profusely, finally cracked the console's code. "Got it," he yelled. The entire cavern lit up as the dormant sentinels roared to life. Towering figures of metal and energy, they unleashed devastating beams of light that tore through the insect machines. The tide of battle turned instantly. Outside, the sentinels emerged from the ground, joining the fight against the mothership's forces. Their activation sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks, causing the insect machines to falter. Mira and Jonas exchanged a look of relief, but it was short-lived. The alien projected another hologram, showing the mothership's response. A massive energy surge rippled through its core, and a colossal weapon began to charge. "They're going to destroy the Sentinels," Mira said, her voice trembling. "And Ridgewell," Jonas added grimly. The group faced their most desperate choice yet. To protect Ridgewell and the Sentinels, they would have to take out the mothership's weapon. The alien's map revealed a weakness, a central reactor deep within the ship that, if disabled, would neutralize its weapon systems. "We're seriously thinking about boarding that thing," Carter asked incredulously. "It's not like we have a choice," Mira replied. "The Sentinels bought us time, but this is the only way to stop them for good." The alien extended its hand, and the group suddenly felt a rush of energy. Their vision blurred momentarily, and when it cleared, they realized they were no longer in the cavern. They were on the mothership. The alien had transported them directly into the heart of the enemy vessel, bypassing its external defenses. The interior was a labyrinth of glowing corridors and pulsating walls, each surface alive with shifting patterns. "Everyone stay close," Mira whispered. "We don't know what's waiting for us." The group navigated the ship, guided by the alien, whose familiarity with the surroundings suggested a deeper connection to the invaders. As they approached the central reactor, the ship's defenses came to life. Drones and automated turrets emerged, forcing the group into a desperate fight for survival. Carter's sharpshooting kept the drones at bay, while Jonas used his improvised gadgets to disable the turrets. Mira, armed with a scavenged energy weapon, focused on protecting Jonas as he worked to override the reactor's controls. The alien, meanwhile, unleashed its full potential. Its limbs elongated into razor-sharp blades, and its movements became a blur as it cut through waves of drones with uncanny precision. "We're almost there," Jonas shouted. The reactor loomed before them, a massive core of pulsating energy. Jonas accessed its control panel, his fingers flying over the alien interface. The room trembled as the reactor began to destabilize. The group barely escaped as the reactor exploded, sending shockwaves through the mothership. The vessel's weapon systems flickered and died, and the massive ship began to collapse. Back in Ridgewell, the Sentinels fired one final salvo, destroying the mothership as it plummeted from the sky. The explosion lit up the horizon, a beacon of humanity's resilience. As the dust settled, Mira, Jonas, Carter, and the alien emerged from the wreckage, battered but victorious. They had faced the impossible and survived, but the fight for Earth was far from over.